Hey everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. So today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial on this look right here. It's very cool toned, very purpley toned. I wanted to use a specific glitter from Glitter Glam. This is Mellow and it's like a holographic multicolored glitter, but it's more purpley and lilac-y. So for me that was the star of the look and I based everything else around that. And I'm really happy with how it came out and I hope you like it too. So if you want to see how I created this whole look, then just keep watching. So to get started, I've done two things. I've prepped my eye with Urban Decay's Primer Potion in Eden as usual, and I've also popped some Scotch tape under my eye along the wing to create that really sharp wing shape. And as my base shadow, I'm going to go into my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette and use this matte kind of yellowy creamy tone right here. And this is just a blending brush from Crown, I believe. So I'm popping that all over to give me a nice even base and to help my shadows blend on top. For my first transition shade in the crease, or above the crease, I'm taking this matte baby pink shade from Inglot. It's number 319. And as I said, that's going above the crease and it's my first transition shade. So there will be another shade and then a crease color. So of all this color here, it's sitting the highest. And also bringing it way out to the wing. And again, because it's the highest shade, it's going out the furthest. Then for my next transition shade, I'm going into the Modern Renaissance palette and I'm taking this matte mauve shade right here. Because when I did the first eye, I just went in with this mauve shade first and I just felt like even this transition shade needed something to help blend it out a little bit, and the pink helped do that. So that's why we're layering the two of them. So that went nearly in the same place as the pink, just a tiny little bit lower, so the pink still peeks out at the top. So then onto our first crease shade, and I'm taking Sketch from MAC and we're popping that into the crease and blending upwards into our mauve. So we're just getting darker as we move down. So again, this shade is going right up to that tape, and I'm also going to run it under the eye. So then moving on to a darker purple for the crease, and this is 308 from Inglot. I'm also just going to take a little bit of that onto the corner of the lid, and then just taking a little bit of this mauve shade, helping to blend that out. And I'm also just going to help blend out the underneath. So it just softens the darker shades. Then for our final crease shade, I'm using 391 by Inglot. And this is a matte black, but it has kind of a bluey undertone to it. So that's just going right into the very outer corner of the crease and blending out. Just carrying it a little bit under the eye, keeping it kind of closer to the lashes. And then I'm switching brushes, so the whole time we were using the same brush, just a rounded blending brush. And then I'm switching to a little smudgy one. This is a 20p from Inglot. And taking that same 391 shade and going under the eye and just packing it on closer to the lash line so we get a more intense payoff. Okay, so onto our shimmer shades. I'm first going to take Tempera from the Modern Renaissance palette, and that is going to be my brow highlight. And then going into Vermeer. I used this in my last tutorial and I really loved it. It's just this really, really baby pink shimmery shade. So I'm popping that into the inner corner and then up onto the lid. And then I'm taking some of our mauve shade and blending where that meets those matte colours. So that shiny shade there is just acting as a base for our pigment and glitter. For my adhesive, I'm using my Too Faced glitter glue, and I'm first just popping that into the inner corner. And the pigment that I'm using is the Kiko Pigment Loose Eyeshadow in number 2. It's a very soft baby pink. I used this in one of my first impressions tutorials. We're just packing that on. and we're dispersing it nice and wide to give maximum kind of shimmer and brightness. And then I'm using a little bit more of the glitter glue and just patting that onto the lid, the inner half of the lid, say, or the inner half to 2/3, depending how much glitter you want visible on the lid. And then this is the star of the show. This is from Glitter Glam and it's the shade Mellow. And I'm just pressing that on, starting from the inside where we want it to be most intense, and then fading it out as we get to the outside. And then to help that fade out, back into the mauvey shade and our blending brush, and just pat over the edge of that glitter. It just kind of mattifies the edge of the glitter so that there's a better fade and a better transition. Okay, so then we're going to add a little bit of liner, and I'm using the Essence Liquid Ink in Waterproof. And I'm just stopping it at the edge. I'm not winging it out, because otherwise I would end up with a double wing. It wouldn't be as low as this. So I'm just going to let that dry, and in the meantime I'm going to remove my tape. So once the liner is dry, I'm going back to my little smudgy brush and the 319 from Inglot, and I'm going over the very corner of it where it meets that shade, so that you can't see any harsh lines of where the liner ends and where the shadow starts. So I'm going over the very corner, and then I'm bringing it up slightly onto the liner itself, just to make the transition that bit more smooth, because the liner is obviously a lot blacker than that shadow. Okay, so our eyes are now even and it's time for lashes. So I'm first going to pop on some mascara. So I'm just going to pop on my brows and my foundation, and I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with lashes, brows and foundation. The lashes that I used were the number 1 Giselles from Huda Beauty. For my base then, I just primed with number 7 Shine Free. For my foundation, I used the Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover with the custom cover drops from Cover FX. My concealer was Collection Lasting Perfection, and I set it all with Rimmel Stay Matte Translucent Powder. So on to the cheeks. I'm going to use this Sephora All Aglow face palette that I used in my most recent first impressions. I think it was the most recent one, and I was saying that I think I used it a little bit, or I just like swatched them all when I got it a good while ago, but I hadn't really touched it since, so I'm going to try out some of the products. So I'm using my Real Techniques blush brush, and I'm going to go into the last bronzer here. The bronzers are kind of like in light, medium and darker, but they're all fairly fair. But they're fair but warm, which is nice. I don't have a lot of warm, light bronzers. Okay, so that is a very natural bronzer. It just gives a little bit of warmth without standing out too much at all. So I'm going to go over that with MAC's Harmony blush. Just make it a little bit stronger. So then moving on to the blushes in the palette, and I'm going to take the lighter matte shade, the pinky one. And then into the highlighters, again I'm going to take a pinky shade, and it's this one right here, one of the powder ones. I've been really into pinky highlighters recently for some reason, and I used to really not like them before. So those are the cheeks done, and then for my lip I'm going to use the Beauty Bakery Lip Whip in the shade Versailles. This is their older packaging. They have new packaging that looks so cute. I really want to get some more shades in the newer packaging. And these are basically a liquid lipstick. think that's as good as I'm gonna get it without a lip liner. Okay guys, that is the look finished. I hope you like it. I definitely do. I like anything with glitter basically anyway, and these glitters are so beautiful. Again, it's from Glitter Glam. I got 3 of them. I got this one. There's one that's like holographic and kind of multicolored like this, but it's more blue. And then I have like a hot pink glitter, which is beautiful as well. So I can't wait to do more looks with those. So guys, if you liked the video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up by clicking the like button that's down below. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have any requests for makeup tutorials or videos in general, then definitely leave them down in the comments below. So that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. See you later, guys. Or both ways, I should check. I'm also just going to take a little bit, number 1, over that with Max Harmony. Okay, how did I manage to do that? Look how big that side is. Minty. Instead. Look who's here. What's the sign?
Everybody! Hey! Oh, you can't believe your look that I'm for.